Anakin Skywalker had the potential to be the most powerful Jedi in history. Not only did he have the highest midichlorian count known to the Jedi, he was also the Chosen One. In Revenge of the Sith, we learn that he could have been more powerful than Palpatine or Yoda. So when he turned to the dark side, it makes sense that he should have eventually been able to use Force lightning. However, when Anakin lost to Obi-Wan and Mustafar, he was forced to get prosthetic arms that made it impossible for him to properly shoot out Force lightning. In the past, there have been prosthetic arms that were able to have Force lightning shot through them, such as Darth Malgus' arm, but Palpatine made Vader's suit and limbs incredibly susceptible to Force lightning so that he could have more control over him. That's why we don't really see Vader using lightning. Now, there was actually a time where despite his restrictions, he was able to use a type of lightning. It takes place during the novel Splinter of the Mind's Eye. This story takes place about 2 years after the events of A New Hope. In the beginning of the story, we see that Luke and Leia were sent on a mission to the Serkarpos system. While they were passing by the planet Serkarpos 5, also known as Mimban, they were pulled down by powerful energy generators that created atmospheric disturbances. After finding each other, they made their way to a town and came across an older woman at a restaurant. Her name was Hala, and she was Force sensitive. She wasn't that strong in the Force and didn't have a lot of training, but she could feel the Force. She felt Luke's strength in the Force and asked for his help. Hala wanted his help in finding an ancient crystal that was inside of a temple on the planet. Now, the crystal was actually a kyber crystal that was an ancient Force relic, and it allegedly increased a Force user's power up to 1,000%. It would also allow Force users to have abilities that they may not have already possessed. It was initially used by priests to heal the sick. It could also allow whoever's holding it to shoot Force lightning even if they didn't possess that skill. And if cut the right way, it could make a crystal for a lightsaber. She gave Luke a small shard from the original crystal to prove that it was real. By touching the shard, Luke surmised that if you held the full crystal, you would be able to do literally anything in the Force. Now, I'm going to skip over a decent chunk of the story as it isn't super important to the video. Eventually, Vader arrived on the planet, and after getting his hands on a piece of the crystal, he feels its potential in the Force and goes after the party. They beat him to the temple and see the full gem. They are attacked by a large lizard creature and after a struggle are able to beat it. However, Luke's leg gets crushed under fallen rubble. It's then that Darth Vader appears. Leia attempts to fight Vader with Anakin's lightsaber and is quickly defeated and wounded. Luke's freed by one of their alien friends and then attacks Vader himself. Now, because the crystal was so insanely powerful, any Force user who was in the general vicinity would be affected and were stronger in the Force. So Luke, with the training that he got from Obi-Wan and the power of the crystal, fought Vader to the best of his ability. As they fought, Vader threw his lightsaber at Luke's and knocked it out of his hand. Then, Darth Vader did the impossible. He grabbed his right wrist with his left hand and made a fist. Vader seemed to convulse, then a ball of pure white energy appeared in front of him and it shot toward Luke. Luke instinctively put his hands in front of his face and unintentionally repelled the lightning back to Vader, which caused Vader to lose his arm and fly back. They both slowly got up and began to fight. Vader knocked Luke down once again. This time, Luke didn't have the strength to get up. Even with the crystal's help, he was nowhere near as powerful as Vader at this point. Vader walked over to him, preparing to strike, when he tripped over his own cybernetic arm and fell deep into a pit in the center of the room. After this, Luke used the crystal to heal Leia's injuries. Now, he doesn't end up keeping the crystal. It ends up staying with Hala, the old woman. Years later, as Luke Skywalker learned more about the Jedi and Force abilities, he discovered what the name of the lightning was and how it worked. Vader used what's called kinetite, which is a variation of Force lightning that involves creating a ball of pure kinetic force. So that's the time Vader used Force lightning. It's kind of cool, and I like the explanation that they gave us with the crystal and him creating a ball of lightning outside his armor. But what did you all think? I would love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, make sure to check out Splinter of the Mind's Eye. While it's not the greatest story in the expanded universe, it's definitely an interesting read. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day. May the Force be with you.